Hey, welcome to the Keep It Real AF podcast. I'm Amy, and I started this podcast because I miss my friends. Life in your 50s isn't always easy, and it can feel like you're doing it all on your own, but you're not. We're here to talk about the things that matter and maybe even add a laugh along the way.
My vote, we start with skincare. I cannot wait to tell you guys about this amazing new product line I just found. Meanwhile, I'm just over here trying to figure out my next career move and how to find a man. Priorities, right? Yep, this is what we're about, keeping it real. A little friend time make everything better. So glad you're here. Can't wait to hang out.
Hey, welcome to the Keep It Real AF podcast. I'm Amy. If this is the first time you're joining, welcome. Grab a coffee or a bevy and hang out with your friend because this is exactly what we're doing. This is a podcast for middle-aged moms, women in their 50s, and we know that a little bit of friend time makes everything better. And I have been waiting for this conversation with my friends Emily and Steph because I don't know, I had a weekend and I'm waking up and I just need a little extra pep in my step. So this is what's going to give it to me. If you are any one of our children, get off. This is our mom time. This is where we're going to have some conversations about Emily's love life, Steph's weekend, and we heard from you, and we know that you also want to hear more of our product recommendations. But today we are talking about our morning routines. What do we do? If we're using anything, what products we recommend, but really what routines are helping us to stay on the rails or go off the rails. So we're just going to have some good chit chat today. So please make sure if you haven't already, share this with your friends because I think your friends might need us too.
Yes.
So, with that being said, I think we should change it up and start with Steph today. Because Steph, we are going to live vicariously through you. Steph went to Vegas over the weekend.
Yes.
Did. And I just want to live right there. Tell us, how was your weekend and how are you on
Yeah.
a morning following a Vegas trip?
So let me just say, so we went to Vegas with another couple for her to celebrate her 50th birthday. She is an avid listener of our podcast. So happy birthday, Mel. And
Mel, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
and so we were super psyched to go. And so she and her husband are just they're amazing people. They're also like just incredibly generous and thoughtful, and her husband loves like a great surprise. And so we were totally spoiled in that when we arrived, we were staying at the Bellagio. So then he was like, "Oh, surprise, we're staying in the penthouse suites." And we were like, well, like so spoiled,
Wow.
so spoiled. And so, not only did I get away,
By the way, that just took Vegas. Like you knew you had to get your you're in a mode to like up it from your
yeah,
typical, work one life. So it just like went up,
I
I'm
gotta tell you,
sure. Like
like
you just jacked that sucker up.
I mean, at one moment I was sitting in this, this suite, and there's a bar and three bathrooms, and I was sitting in my princess bed, in like my corner room, like looking at the mountains and looking, and I was like, I felt like a princess sitting in my little castle, and I was like, I don't wanna
Wow.
leave. You're gonna have to pull me out, buy my extensions, like, pull me out of here. So but I gotta tell so there is one thing, and I thought of you guys. So, I mean, everything was beautiful and everything was just, like, incredible. But there was one thing in the room that, like, I'm changed. And I've never thought about this before. I've ever. But there was a luxury toilet. Hold on. So let me just
The
like
day.
it's so first of all, when you walk up to the toilet, it addresses you. If the lid opens, a light goes on. By the time you sit down, the seat is warm, like super warm. And there's like a mist that goes on, like a warm mist to prepare the seat for you to sit down on.
Steph, you do know that I had this Toto toilet in my last
You
house.
did?
I did. I used to have parties and people would come into my bathroom to try it. I mean, we would have get-togethers and they'd be like, "Oh, let's go check our toilet out." Yeah, it's a Toto toilet. I would approach it and the lid would come up and it has, because who doesn't want to feel clean down there?
My
Who doesn't want
God.
to sit on a I put the toilet in. I loved it until it broke. And then it was like, we all should have these toilets, but in the house, in the house that I lived in, we needed a water softener. Like the water was hard. And so the little hoses and everything, unfortunately it broke and it was so expensive to fix. But I actually put a Toto toilet in my house. It's like, I know exactly what you're saying. It's like, it changes you. You're like, you feel amazing. You don't
I will never, I can't wait for the opportunity to renovate a bathroom because that is the top of the list, the very top of the list. So I am changed.
Yeah, you're always clean every time you leave. Did you play around with the little squirting options?
Everything. The dryer, the oscillating function,
warm water,
the pulsing dryer,
You can move it up and down, like up and
positioning.
back. So if there's a particular area that you want, I mean, Emily, you've been to my house, the last house. Did you try my toilet?
But I don't think I did not give it a go where I was
some quality
totally
time with
trying everything out.
Yeah. It was a must in the last house it was a must, but then unfortunately, like I said, it broke. But I totally hear you, Steph. Because it's like an amazing, plus just having a warm seat, it was
Yes.
it was awesome.
So, but it was fantastic. It was, I mean, it was everything. It was lots of, and I'm not a gambler, but we didn't do a lot of gambling. It was beautiful weather. We sat outside.
Awesome.
There was some loving.
Aren't 50ths the best? Happy 50th, Mal, by the way. That's a month-long celebration. So I hope she's working it.
But it was awesome.
It's so fun. I think 50s celebrations are amazing. It's a great celebration of someone's life.
Absolutely.
So I hope that continues. And rock on, Mel's husband. If you're listening too, men, take note. Awesome. How are you feeling today? Are you?
No, I'm
okay?
a little rough. Yeah. I mean, there was definitely the last night we were there was again, her husband with, there was, bottle service and there was dancing and so,
Jesus.
yeah, I mean, I was thinking of you guys and then, and then my thought was, how am I going to wake up in the morning? How am I going to get on a plane? How are we going to so it was rough. Yesterday was rough.
Well, I give you a ton of credit because I have a glass of wine in my payback in days. So that's you are a trooper. Awesome. So I have a feeling that you have some updates for us, and I can't wait to hear them. How are you? And what's new?
Yes, I do have some updates. So the weekend was great. Went to Cincinnati Winter Blues Experience on Saturday, which was really fun. Some local acts as well as some acts from all over come in. So it was that was pretty cool. But so after last week, I did reach out to out-of-towner.
Time it for 1 second. Can I just share one thing? If someone is listening and they're like, what is this story all about? Well, we're kind of like your Real Housewives in some respects. Rewind, listen to the previous episodes.
Yes.
We've all been listening in on some of Emily's updates about her social life and her man and things in this relationship have been changing. So if you haven't, listen to the other ones, you oughta.
Yes, thank you for that. So I I reached out and said, you know what? I really am looking for a committed relationship based on the conversation that we had, and just decided to end things. There is no point in pursuing anything if it's not going to be in a committed relationship. And I know things would have been different if we would have lived closer because we're a couple hours away. And he agreed that he would
Wow.
really like someone that's there locally to do things with. And I do too, because I don't want to hang out with someone a couple times a month. So it felt really good, but we ended it as, you know what, let's just stay in touch, just keep in touch, see how each other's doing. And really just said that we both really enjoyed our time together and so glad that we crossed paths. So, that felt really good. But one thing that I realized from this is that I really know how I want a guy to treat me. And when we were in public, like I felt like I was the only girl, right? And he was just very attentive and what I would say like grippy. Like he was just always holding my hand and, not in like a possessive way or anything, but just very,
Yeah.
yeah, you just felt like
Touch.
really
Yeah.
good. And I really, really liked that. So yeah. So now I am 100% single, completely on the market, single and ready to mingle. And, it's Valentine's Day coming up this weekend. So, yeah,
Yes.
so I feel really good. I feel great about the decision. So, yeah.
It's your decision.
Good.
Like to put yourself
Yes.
first and to not settle and to really take action on all the things that you said. It's it's so easy to
Yep.
say I want this and I'm going to do this, but it's entirely another thing to actually take action on that because that's hard.
Yeah.
And
I could have
so
stuck
proud
with
of
it
you.
and said, you know what, it feels comfortable and
Yeah.
I enjoy the relationship and the companionship, the chemistry, I enjoy that. But at some point you just have to say, all right, I can get that here. So I don't
Yeah.
need to drive 2 hours for it. Not that I'm like looking for that, but
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Well, and also just to realize, like, I don't know about you, but usually these stories don't end up this way. When you think about people who are dating and like you break up, and just the fact that you're actually like learning from it, and I know a few more details, and like it was like a really amicable, friendly. Like it didn't let it get to a place where it could have just gotten a little ugly,
Yeah.
So I'm super proud of you too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, with these
Yeah.
I'm
kinds
just
of
kind of
things
curious,
too, right?
um,
Like it's so nice to end
yeah.
it in a positive way because you're right. Like if you hear so many stories about like the immature ways to end a relationship or the ghosting or the not being transparent. And the fact that you were just
Mhm.
such an adult and you used your words and you spoke what was on your
Yeah.
mind. Like it's incredibly mature. And I think a lot of times people just don't have the courage or the or just I don't know the words or the right to the maturity to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, so I'm just kind of curious. This would be an interesting topic for Steph and I. But Valentine's Day,
Yes.
do you have what does a single ready to mingle 52 do on a Valentine's Day?
So me and a girlfriend, we are going to see a band. There's probably a couple spots that we'll go to. One place is advertising for singles
Oh.
that they want, singles ready to
Just
mingle kind of thing. It's a local place, Bishop's Quarter. in Loveland. So we're going to check that out. And then we're going to go see a band, a local band that we love. It's Billy Rock Band. Giving a shout out to Billy Rock Band at the Bell and the Bear. So that's what we'll do. We'll just be out and about and for Valentine's Day. And yeah, that's about,
Nice.
gonna do, my,
Well,
a little different
that's
than you
awesome. I
all.
can't wait to
Yeah.
hear what. Well, if you think about it, if you're single and you're showing up to a Valentine's like kind of event, like I mean, you're there to mingle for sure. So I love it. I think that might be some fun outcomes of that. But so Sean and I had a discussion about Valentine's Day because, like, I don't know, we're sort of like our boys have girls, and they're like, one of my sons like celebrated Valentine's Day with his girl. Like they had gifts and they made it a special event. And then my other one was thinking about putting a lot of energy. And Sean was like, kind of makes me proud. And I saw it as an opening to talk about Valentine's Day for your wife. And I was like, dude, like, because he said, like, my son, one of them said, so what are you doing for mom? And he's like, oh, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day anymore. Like, wait a minute.
No.
Will you and Denny celebrate Valentine's Day?
No.
No? So for all of our friends
Right.
listening, I want you to comment right now. Pause and comment. And let me know if you're married, if you are celebrating Valentine's Day, because I need to show it to my husband.
I just had to look. I didn't even know what date it was. I mean, I know it's the 14th, but I was like, is that like this week? Is that over the weekend? I don't even know.
So I will tell you that I benefited from that opening because it started to go on a path. And I don't know if Steph, this happens for you or my married friends who are listening, but like I was getting a little bit, I felt a little bit like, what? So I was like, it quickly went from a conversation about Valentine's Day to like, when's the last time we spent time together? When's the last, like, I was picking a fight. I could feel it. And I'm super proud of myself because I know, like, it was like I think the Super Bowl, it was like end of the Super Bowl. So I was getting tired and I could just, but it was that little thing that made me wanna, I don't know. And so I felt really good. We actually didn't argue. And let's just say we used it as an opportunity. Fill in the blank. Because I was like, all week, I'm not going to see you. You're doing this. And he's like, well, you got me now. And I was like, okay. So we're having a little impromptu Valentine's Day celebration. But I was like, those are the things that I feel like, you've got to, we all say you got to work hard, right? You got to put some effort into things with your significant other, but it can feel so hard sometimes. But if you're listening, I do want flowers. I love flowers. Yeah. How about you, Steph? Like, well, will this be your reason to maybe talk to Denny?
Oh, I feel like, we just came off of an amazing weekend. So I feel like, I don't know. I mean, we had, it was like great time together and we had amazing dinners and, we had time together. We had time apart. So
that's awesome.
No, I'm not feeling slighted.
Cool. You check the box there.
It's good.
And that's like, because to be honest with you, it's not about Valentine's Day. It was about like, will we take a minute? Like, how will we just get out of the grind of a week? Because it's just, that's what makes it so hard. I think we're almost married 25 years. It's just, there's always something getting in the way. So
it's a good way to celebrate your love. Now, Sweetest Day is another thing. Like, I don't want to, that's a Hallmark holiday.
Agree.
But Valentine's Day, it's a great day to be able to celebrate love, your love in general. And that's like Galentine's Day was what, last weekend or something for like girlfriends. But
nice. I didn't even know that it was officially. Is Galentine's Day truly like an official thing?
It is. It's like girlfriends getting together.
Oh,
Yes. Galentine.
so this is our
Well, you can say
Valentine.
that we checked that box.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. So before we talk morning routines, I did have something cool happen, which I think I shared with you. Like healthy AF snacks got a little bit of
Yeah.
little publicity. I'm like so psyched. And I have Emily to thank for the name of my snack line. Because I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would be making snacks and doing anything out of my kitchen. I just never imagined that, but people asked, and I was like, maybe I ought to listen. And I was describing the snacks to Emily. I'm like, they're just healthy AF. And she's like, that's what you need to call it. And I was like, oh my gosh, but what if I sometimes, work with families and I'm like, what if they fill in the blanks there? She's like, so what? Like, that's a fun name. So I've gotten really great feedback on the name, Emily. So
So
thanks for that idea,
clever.
but it's cool.
So clever.
Yeah.
Very
So I'm
nice.
stoked. Yeah. Like excited to share more with the world about healthy snacks. But
So how was your
that was
weekend,
really a
Amy?
highlight.
How was your weekend?
That was good. I was cooking a lot. Cooking a lot of snacks. Yeah, it was fine. It was felt like a pretty normal weekend. I mean, I put in like 20 miles for my training for my endurance event and I was a little beat up from that, but I'm here feeling in one piece and it's getting harder this week. So I need my 29029 deeps out there. Let's stay strong. And it's all good. Yeah, it was all good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
But morning routines, let's get to it. So we get to the meat of our conversation. So I'm a morning routine gal, but just curious. How about you guys? You guys believe in it? You guys have a routine? What are your thoughts on how important it is to have a morning routine? Let's just start there.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a routine. I'm a little out of my routine
Yeah.
since I'm unemployed, but yeah, I still try to stick with my routine as much as I can.
How about you, Steph? You looked a little skeptical.
Morning routines are sometimes predicated, mostly they're predicated by getting my kids off to school and by my work calendar. So oftentimes, I mean, I'm on calls with Europe starting at 7 or 8 o'clock. So it's tough for me. In my when I was a bit younger, I would do the 5 a.m. gym every day religiously, and I just can't do it anymore. It's too early. I'm too tired later in the day, and I think that for so many years it really took a toll on me. So, um, I get in movement where I can. So if I have an open morning after I drop my youngest one off, I'll run to the gym, or I'll try to get to the gym on a lunch hour, or the summers are definitely a lot easier for me with having some scheduled gym time because I'm not bound to the drop offs, the school drop offs.
So when you wake up in the morning, because I have early starts too, and it's like, oof, can be jarring. Is there one thing that you do for yourself, or does that come
It's after
the kids? Yeah. So you wait, because that would be pretty early, like back to your 5 a.m.
Yeah.
like you were saying. How about you, Em? Do you have or is there something any self-care or in any respect? Is there anything that you're doing when you start your morning, or is that happening a little later in the day?
Self-care, like workouts, I definitely do I'm an afternoon worker-outer. Like, I am not about getting up early in the morning to do it. I value my sleep. So yeah, no, it's just more of coffee with, I brought a couple products of some things that I'll do in the morning and got to watch my Today Show, a little bit of it while I'm getting the dog, feeding the dog and all that. Luckily, my daughter, I don't have to get her ready and off and going. She's very independent, and I'm going to be an empty nester soon. So that's
another
Yeah.
topic we need to tackle.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important one. It's such a such a shift.
No.
It's like, it feels like an earthquake kind of monumental shift. Steph and I have been through it
Yeah.
once, but I know I can speak for myself. I have a feeling I can speak for Steph too, but the second one will be a much different change. So, yeah, I would love to have a conversation about that. But I
Yeah.
gotta tell you, I'm the opposite in terms of morning routine. Like, if I don't have, I'm a structure gal. And for years, I would just kind of get up with the kids and as soon as I would get up with the kids and get them fed, my day would be off and running. And after so many years, I always felt frazzled and so burned out by the end of the day and never have any time for myself. So, yeah, I'm the opposite. I don't get up before. I don't have my morning routine starts after the kids get fed, but I have a gap of just about 15 to 20 minutes. They're fed, they're showering, but I have really consistent structure right after then and just a couple things. But if I don't do it, I don't have any sense of peace,
So what are you
period.
doing?
Oh, and it's a so okay, so it takes me 5 to 10 minutes. I get up 5 to 10 minutes before I get my kids up. I get some things set up. I'm literally walking around like a freaking zombie while I'm waiting for my coffee. And we're all sort of in our own fog waking up. But then after 15 minutes, they're fast eaters. It's bye-bye. And I won't give that up because I know Steph and I have talked about letting our kids get themselves up because there's certainly that teaches them to be independent.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't want to miss out on that time. Sometimes that's the only time I see my kids because of how our schedules at night. So I value, even though we're all not awake and they're not really talking to me, I still want to cook for them and I want to see them. But after they're off getting ready, I have a quiet spot in my house and I spend about 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, and I literally have dopamine hits. I get a feeling of fullness in my heart and I just have a little routine that I now crave that. And at this point, I've had a cup of coffee. I cannot function without one cup of coffee, black and strong. And then I make sure that I'm hydrating. It's gotta be black and strong. I have to hydrate because I believe, I know I don't really I drink enough throughout the day, but waking up in the morning and having some electrolytes or just something that I'm drinking usually just makes me feel good too, because we all walk around slightly dehydrated for waking up in the morning. So I'm just kind of sipping on that. And I have a journal. I have two journals. One is in my phone. It's in my notes, and my notes are protected. You can do that with your notes. And I make just so I can feel like I can write anything down and I don't have to worry about anybody reading it. And I answer 3 questions. And these 3 questions make my day. And so they're very simple. I got them from someone, but I can't remember what they are. I want to make sure I get them right. I am going to open my notes. I have them in my notes. And it can just be a minute. And it's not as if I'm writing them down, but I do like to write them down because it just makes me feel like I'm actually intentional about it. So the first question is, what is one thing that I deeply appreciate about my life? Where do I have deep gratitude? What is the one thing that I appreciate about my life, deeply that day? It's usually the same answer every day, but sometimes I try to get specific. So that's how I start with gratitude. And then I ask myself, what is the most important thing I have to do today? And I only allow myself to put one thing on the list. And the third question is, which quality do I want to showcase to the world today? And that's it. So most of those things, it just grounds me. And to be honest with you, I've read, because of my line of work with health and wellness, I'm always listening to the top podcasters out there about their morning routines and red light and this, it's too long. I have 5 minutes probably to myself of quiet. So I'm just that 5 minutes of silence. And sometimes it's one, sometimes it's 10 minutes, but it's answering those questions that I find myself thinking about later in the day. And I especially like the question about what quality I want to showcase because a lot of the times it's just, in fact, 9 out of 10 times, it's I want to be a calm, peaceful place for my family. And not every time, but in the moments where I'm triggered later in the day or after work, I actually think about that sometimes. And it gives me that wee bit of buffer that I need. So, or sometimes I think about a lot of times I'm the kind of person that it's hard for me to like not work a lot and, not push, push, push. But when I'm really intentional about the one thing, the most important thing I need to do today, I only allow myself to put one thing on there. A lot of the times if I want to work later, sometimes I just remember, oh, I wrote that I wanted to do that thing and I did it. So all of this allows me to be a little bit more at peace. So for what it's worth, those are the 3 questions that I just take a minute, and sometimes I don't even, like, write it down. I'm, like, having the second cup because I just need it, and I just, like, am by the coffee machine, and I'm taking a minute to answer those questions. So, I forgot where I got them from. I'll try to give credit wherever I can find those, but,
Like
those have been
that.
really
Yeah, I do too.
helpful.
Because then you can choose to show up in a specific way, whether it's like with kindness or gratitude, or it's a great way
Yeah.
to see yourself and how others will see you for the day. I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Thanks. It's working for me, and I mean, like, I just wanna, like, acknowledge that, if you're a podcast person or you're just paying attention to, like, health, wellness, there's so much you're inundated with, and it is so overwhelming. I'm sure people are expecting to hear from me about, I don't know, like, what does research say or blah, blah, blah. But to be honest with you, I just don't have time in my life to have something that's really complicated in the morning. All I know is that I would need, if I can find a few minutes of quiet and I can run through those questions. I mean, I'm on a quest for more peace, just feeling a little bit more like lightness. That's actually been my motto for the year. I know, Emily, I'm very clear on one of yours. You're going to find a relationship this year. And wait, Steph, did you think about your motto for this year or a theme? We talked about that
Well, I've
several
already
podcasts ago, but
failed.
has
That was
anything
my
developed for you?
resolution, was to like come up with my intention, and I didn't do it yet. So I've already failed. But oh,
You didn't fail. Yeah. You did not fail at all because you said you weren't doing
yeah,
it. So,
but
and you didn't say you were,
yeah,
but
Like a
maybe,
theme. It's like, what is your theme for the year?
yeah,
I thought you came up with a theme because mine was experiences.
yeah. I'll give it some thought.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'll give it some
Yeah.
thought.
you need us to make one up for you. We can.
Um, yeah,
Um,
maybe. Well, you guys know I'm all about experiences. Like
so
that's my, in giving my kids experiences. And, I'm the first to, I think I told you that, on a, I'll pull my kids out of school and let them go skiing, to like that to me is more, that to me is so important. And to have those, I'm all about that. So, maybe along the
well,
line of
there you go.
experiences.
That Yes, I know experiences has been your thing, but, like, keeping that
Yeah.
front and center, like, having more experiences
Yeah.
for you, because that seems to bring you a
Yeah.
lot of happiness and joy.
So,
What's the next experience for you guys, like, in terms of trips or
yeah,
anything that's next? I mean, you just got back from
yeah,
one.
so we're going to London in April for my son who's a senior for his spring break. So that's been sort of a bucket list thing for him. He decided he didn't want to do the barf pool Punta Cana trip with his school. So we were like, hey, if you don't do, bodily fluid foam pool, we'll go as a family to London and go to an EPL soccer match, which everybody's always wanted to do.
Oh, that's
So, yeah.
awesome.
So,
Awesome.
speaking of, yeah, we're pulling my son out of college. We're pulling my little one out of school for a week to align with his spring break. And we're going to go spend a week in London.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's awesome.
Oh, that is great.
Sounds great. Better than the
Better
barf
than the
pole.
barf pool, the naked girl barf pool.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. My next experience is Vegas for friend's 50th birthday. It's at the end of March.
Okay.
Oh, see, you got to get the
Yeah.
lowdown from Steph. She
Yes.
just, you guys can
Yeah.
exchange some notes.
Yeah, we've got some great, one of the things we did there that was really cool is, all of the hotels now have these little like private speakeasies and you have to get a reservation or you have to find them. And we did not a pub crawl, but we literally did like a speakeasy crawl through a couple hotels and that
that's
was
awesome.
really fun.
Yeah. I can't
that's
wait.
Awesome.
It's been forever. Last time I was there
good.
was with you.
When is that?
AIM. Last time we went. I think it was for my 40th.
Do you know that was 40 when we turned 40?
10 years.
That's a long time ago. In fact, I think it's been about the same length. But to be honest with you, like Vegas isn't on my list. I've done Vegas. I was doing Vegas when I was pregnant. Like I was there 2 times when I was pregnant. It was actually quite fun. Like seeing plays and shopping, but no thanks. Like I'll find a different destination. So Sean and I were yesterday. Actually, the fun thing that we did, we were just trying to figure out. We make it a rule, like at least one little getaway for us. I do believe that is part of the recipe for a healthy and happy marriage, but we don't have one planned. So we were trying to get one on the book. So hopefully mid-April, we're going to go do something fun, just us for a nice long weekend. So
Great.
that, of course, also sort of fed into our conversation about Valentine's Day. I was trying to use that. Well, we're not doing Valentine's Day, but we got this trip. I'm like, dude, that's like 6, 8 weeks. What happens in between then?
Exactly.
So, all right. I'm staying on it. I'm staying like on it in terms of time because we don't want these to be too long. Are there any other burning topics? Anything you think our friends might want to know?
So a quickie. So last week we talked about quickie. So last week we talked about some of
Speaking of your marriage, Amy.
friends. Yeah, you're married. Yeah. Some of my male friends have been commenting on watching the podcast.
Okay.
So there was a comment on
That's hilarious to me, by the way.
What are my favorite jeans? So there was one talking about the jeans. Another one, which I thought was really great because he saw about menopause and stuff, and he's dating a friend who's going through menopause. And he said, you know what? I wanted to watch this to see and experience what she's going through so I would know how to relate. I thought that was really
very
sweet.
That sounds like a nice. What a nice man to be thinking about.
5 gold
Thinking
stars.
about his woman. Yeah. I know. Yeah. So it's interesting. So guys, if you're watching or listening, continue to do so. You're probably going to learn a few things. And hopefully this can benefit your girlfriends. Yeah.
Yes.
And share it with your
share with your guy friend.
And share it with your other guy friends.
Well, share with your guy friends too, because Emily's on the market.
Yes.
Yes. On the market.
That's right.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Gals, it was great talking to you. I've added more to the list. We're going to talk about empty nesting and many others. I think we have a couple fun episodes coming up. We've got somebody who's going to talk more about aesthetics and some procedures that are apparently trending for women our age. So we'll be learning from some more experts soon. So, hey, friends, stay tuned and share with your friends and drop a comment in so we know what you like or any feedback or any ideas. But thanks for listening, and gals, have a great day.
Bye. Thanks for joining. Share this with your friends. We'll see you next time.